the globe. It provides a vast array of technical, professional, and supporting services to the government, industries, academia, and the engineering fraternity operating through its 125 centers located across the country and 6 overseas chapters. Besides, IIA has bilateral agreements with about 31 international bodies and membership of another 8 international bodies of the developed nations across the globe. I am glad to inform about the Telangana State Center also, and it is the legacy of erstwhile Nizam's Hyderabad State Center, formed on 28th August 2016 after bifurcation from AP State Center. It has more than 10,000 corporate members on its rolls. It is one of the most active centers of the Institution of Engineers India, which engaged successfully in translating the objectives and mission of IEI into practice and bagged Best State Center Award for the years 2018-19, 19-20, 21-22, and 22-23. The Telangana State Center has been playing a very important role in dissemination of information on engineering and contemporary technology, bringing industry, academia, experts, and professionals together on the same platform. I am glad to inform that the Telangana Center of the Institution of Engineers has been regularly organizing the endowment lectures, which are amounting to 20, and recently one more is also added. The total we are having 21 endowment lectures, like Engineer Reviews endowment lecture, Engineer M. Reddy endowment lecture, Professor K. Gopi endowment lecture, Dr. J. Purushottam endowment lecture, Engineer G. Prabhakar endowment lecture, Engineer Koka endowment lecture, Engineer G.V. Subbarao endowment lecture, Engineer T. Hanumantarao endowment lecture, Engineer A.B. Ranganatha endowment lecture, and today's endowment lecture, Dr. S. Raghavachari, Dr. Nana endowment lecture, Engineer Matu Gopal endowment lecture, Engineer Guram Koti endowment lecture, Engineer Atu Venkateswara endowment lecture, Engineer R. endowment lecture, Dr. Janvi Mudre endowment lecture, Dr. N.V. RLN endowment lecture, Engineer Swami endowment lecture, Dr. A. Ramakrishna endowment lecture, and Engineer I. Basavarazu endowment lecture. So, Professor Dr. Raghavachari lecture approved by the S2I State Center Committee and conducting from 2015 on his birthday, which is the 15th August every year. The endowment lectures are being delivered full of high excellence with considerable professional experience to throw light on important emerging topics of today's traditions. Today, Telangana State Center arranged Professor Dr. S. Raghavachari 10th Endowment Lecture on the topic Pavement Preservation, a Strategic Approach for Road Infrastructure by Professor V. Vinayaka Rao. On behalf of the Telangana State Center of IEI and on my own behalf, I once again extend a hearty welcome to the keynote speaker, Professor V. Vinayaka Ram, and all of you for this important event. Thanks to one and all. Now, I request the convener of the event, Professor Dr. Ramana Nayak Garu, to introduce the keynote speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Sir.
Thank you, sir.
It's a great pleasure to introduce a eminent professor, Professor Raghavachari Garu. I am with his student, former ENC, Abdul Karimullah Khan Sir, Panchayat in 1965 batch. 66 batch. Yeah. So thank you, sir. In Professor, our today's chief guest. First of all, good evening, all of you, sir, and happy Independence Day to all of you. Dr. Vinayaka Ram Garu, Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, Birla Institute of Technology, BITS, Pilani, Hyderabad campus. Experience teaching and research 32 years of NIT Warangal, Engineering Staff College of India, Hyderabad, BITS, Pilani, BITS campus, BITS, Pilani, Hyderabad campus. Sir, major research domains was the modified binders and binding aging of flexible pavements, sustainable building materials for the resilient pavements, cement and alcoholic activity concretes, recycled materials, road assessment management, energy storage in a road and buildings. He's having more than 60 journal publications and 40 chapters, 40 plus of the conference publications. And books is the one CBSE textbook on transportation engineering, and currently authoring the 2 more textbooks. Sir guided the 6th ongoing 8 students and 3 scholars will be submitting shortly during 2024. Granted patents, patents 1, and technology development through the research, design and development novel rotational viscometer to measure the viscosity of the bituminous binders in a rotational mode through the indirect measurements of a torque. Got a payment granted for the same. And development of a novel high-performance self-compacting pavement quality concrete with the perlite and other admixtures. This mixture, while fulfilling the requirements of the pavement quality concrete PQC, could reduce the thermal stress susceptibility, thus reducing the thickness of the PCC layer in the highways, national highways. Developed the unique process of the benchmark to perform the aspects of urban transportation system. Developed the long-term aging similar to the lines of the ASTO R30 for the asphalt mixtures, and developed the method of the estimate of the long-term deterioration of the asphalt mixture with a varying exposure conditions. Established the geocomposite gangler sub-base course can effectively replace of the conventional and treated courses with flexible pavement structures with a live text tracks. Available mixture for the sustainable novel alkali activated concrete paver blocks with the construction of demolition waste aggregates, replacing the virgin coarse aggregate by 40 to 60%. Was developed a road pavement applications. Test track performance for the found to be excellent and ready for the real life implementation. Developed the bio-based systems and developed the energy saving nano implementation systems, and having consultancy coordination system and other notable contributions. Member Bureau of Standard Committee between the BIS Code of Provisions, available the UGC research funding schemes, Senate members in Bitsbilani, Advisory Board in Nikmar and Pune, MIT Pune, Board of Studies Management member for OU, JNTU, and many more institutions in India. Review for the multiple world-class journals. Editorial member for 2 international SCA index journals. Awards, SAR got awards, IRC, Indian Road System Paper Award winning for the late Professor S. Raghavachari and late Professor B. P. Chandrasekhar Garu. Founded research projects 9, more MORD, NBCC, National Building Construction Corporation, DSC, Department of Scientific Arts, thesis, ESCRIN, and laboratory universities in Australia and BITS. Ongoing 5 completed and 4, 2 crores approximately. Thank you, sir. It's a highly appreciable resume of our Dr. Vinay Ram, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you to Chairman Garu.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, Professor Dr. Ramna Naik Garu. Now I request our keynote speaker, Vinay Kumar Garu, to present his talk. Sir?
Yes, sir.
Vinay
Good
Garu.
morning, sir. It says that host disabled participant screen sharing. Can you allow me to share my screen, sir? It's not allowing me to share the screen. Can you enable that?
Sir, input, sir.
Whenever sir, screen
Sir, Chairman Garu, Chief Guest Garu, Matan. Chairman Garu, Chief Professor Vinay Ram, sir, continue. Start your speech.
Yes, sir.
Sir Vinay Kumar, Vinay Ram Garu, please kindly start your presentation, sir.
Yes, sir. Can you see my screen, sir?
Yeah, audible, sir.
Visible?
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay. Yeah. Very good evening to all. I'm really grateful to Institution of Engineers as well as the committee which has actually invited me to
That's
share my views and present a lecture on Professor Raghavachari's 10th Memorial Endowment lecture. So, am I audible, sir?
Yes, audible, sir.
Okay. It's a great privilege for me to talk on this day because I am a student of Professor Raghavachari, and it's a really great honor, and nothing is better than this moment. So I'm really grateful to all of you to have given me this opportunity to speak on behalf of Professor. On the occasion of 10th Endowment Memory Lecture. So today we are going to talk about pavement preservation, a strategic approach for road infrastructure. So this is what we actually target for, like a beautiful road without any failures, which is serving for very long time. Usually we talk about 10 years or 15 years, 20 years of service life of whether it is a flexible pavement or rigid pavement. We want the road to be serving very beautifully, just like this. But is it the way the roads are not are happening right now at this point of time? So the problem is the roads are actually not maintained properly unless the failure is occurring or failure is happening. Our departments will not be initiating the process of maintaining the roads. So in this lecture, what I'm planning to discuss is like why can't we go for preventive maintenance aspects? It's not a new topic altogether, but still the rest of the world is using. Some of the countries are very popularly using, but India is yet to actually take off. Implementing this preventive maintenance aspects. So I will share my views. Many of the views are already available in Federal Highway Administration's reports. So I just compiled all the reports and then tried to compile here and trying to present here. Now, coming to the topic, why pavement preservation is required? What is so great about it? So basically, it's a part of pavement asset management, and the pavement is the biggest asset the world can ever see because the amount of money which goes into the pavement construction is enormously high. As you can imagine, a single lane highway per kilometer per lane, it will be costing anything between 3 to 5 crores of rupees or 7 crores of rupees. It depends upon the subgrade condition as well as the other conditions like whether how many cross lane structures are required and how exactly it is going to perform. So weather conditions also play an important role, and if it is an extremely bad weather conditions which are prevalent in a particular area, then you may have to use special material, special binders to manage the performance of the pavement. So the rideability is something which is always important, and extreme weather conditions, it becomes very challenging, and we need to actually provide better materials and better conditions for the road to really sustain for 15-20 years. So it can vary anywhere between 3 to 10 crores or 8 crores of rupees per kilometer per lane. So it's going to be a big asset, and thousands of kilometers of roads have been built, and unfortunately most of the roads, they are not maintained properly. Unless there is a program like PMGSY where 5 years, then the contractor is given an opportunity of, contractor has to build the road and then he or she has to maintain the road for 5 years without any problem. So such kind of mechanisms are available in typically a program like PMGSY program, but not in many other cases it is available. So this is one thing. Secondly, they enhance the cost effectiveness of the treatments. See, the treatments are something which are always very trivial, and unfortunately, the correct treatment applying the correct treatment is something which is a big challenge. Many of our engineers, unfortunately, they are not really aware of what kind of treatment they are supposed to use, at what time they are supposed to use the treatment, and how to really implement the treatment also is a kind of big challenge. Not many of us are actually trained in that manner, and then we are actually lacking the manpower from the side. In addition to that, even the material, the availability of materials, appropriate materials, is a big question mark. And also appropriate machinery. Machinery is also a kind of, big issue. If you want to maintain certain roads, I mean, in proper condition, like for example, say recently I had been to Japan where I have visited, I could see how the potholes are being treated. So a pothole is visible, and then a single vehicle kind of, machinery, which is driven by one single person. Then he goes, stands there, and the entire process of cutting the pothole into proper shape and taking out the material, then scarifying the material and recycling and replacing and compacting. Everything happens within half an hour. Not even a single piece of dust is coming out. And by the time the machinery is coming out, the road has become perfectly smooth. So such kind of mechanisms are available across the world. Unfortunately, we don't see such kind of things which are happening in all our Indian roads. So I think it will take some time for India to actually adapt to those kind of advancements and try to. And one more thing is, we are not aware of, many of us are not aware of what kind of materials or what kind of binders we need to use. Binders play an important role, aggregates play an important role. Many of the case studies I have seen where the hydrophilic aggregate has been used as a part of the bituminous concrete pavement. Whereas bituminous concrete pavement, bitumen hates water presence, and when it is a hydrophilic aggregate which is going into the bituminous concrete, obviously it has a tendency of attracting a lot of water molecules from the atmosphere. So when the water is actually attracted towards the bituminous concrete, then the bond between the aggregate and bitumen is getting lost. So thereby the pavement will deteriorate within no time, and we are spending so much of money, and by making a single mistake, a small mistake of choosing the hydrophilic aggregate without any other treatments. For example, when you are using the hydrophilic aggregate, we are supposed to use anti-stripping agents or maybe cationic bitumen. There are certain solutions are available. Of course, we are not saying that you are not supposed to use those aggregates at all. In case none of the other aggregates are available, we are supposed to use the hydrophilic aggregate. In that case, the pre-treatment of hydrophilic aggregate is something which is very, very important. So the hydrophobic materials can be added as a part of the bituminous concrete, and we can definitely enhance the life of the pavement. So I think these are all the various things, and in this pavement preservation concept, we can actually learn all these mechanisms, what are all the various advancements the world has seen. So all those things I'll be just telling in this particular lecture. Then enhance the pavement performance. See, the performance, the functionality as well as safety is something which is always seen by the drivers. The moment a person is going on the road, whether he is a transportation engineer or a general normal person who doesn't have any idea about what is transportation and all, still they will judge the pavement quality based upon the functionality as well as safety. How much friction the pavement is giving, how much safety, how much smooth riding surface the pavement is giving. All these things are actually judged by everybody. Whether you like it or not, when the road is beautiful, immediately the kind of satisfaction comes and crops up. The driver will say, okay, I'm driving a very good surface. Similarly, when the road is having a lot of potholes and other things, so immediately our brain will start rating the pavement and start cursing all the engineers who are involved in the whole process of maintenance. So I think the serviceability of the pavement or condition of the pavement is something which is actually playing an important role in day-to-day life of the human being. So that will be the topmost priority of the pavement preservation concept. Then reducing the user delays. What is this user delay? User delay is something wherein when the pavement is not in good condition. So obviously the riding quality will not be adequate, and you can't travel at the speed at which you would like to travel. So obviously the delays are going to happen, and potholes, especially the potholes, not only delays, even loss of life is also enormously high in the case of heavily potholed roads. Then congestion, of course, billions of worth of wasted time is something which is a real big concern, and the freight traffic also gets really affected, because freight is something whenever the freight is moving, we can say that the pavement, there is a crosstalk, sir. Can you mute your mics, please? Hello. Yeah, thank you. So the freight shipment is something which is going to be really get affected, because the freight movement is correlated with the economical movement. So when the freight is traveling, you can say that the economy is actually progressing. So the condition of the road plays an very important role in making the freight movement comfortable and the less accident prone, basically. So that's very, very important, and multiple reports have reported that it's going to become double in the next 20 years. So in India, elsewhere in the world also, it is going to be growing in very, very fast rate. So obviously, it is very important for us to maintain the road throughout the year and throughout the service life of 20 years or 25 years or whatever it is. Then, what is pavement preservation? Pavement preservation is something where we take the right, we actually go for right treatment at the right time on the right project. So, for example, we have multiple roads and the big network of road will be given to a pavement management agency, and that pavement management agency is supposed to be taking care of all the roads, and they are supposed to maintain the roads in good condition, rideable condition or serviceable condition. So which road has to be taken first, which road has to be taken next, which road has to be given priority, which road doesn't require any priority. All these things we need to actually take judicious decisions based upon some scientific process. That's what we require actually. Then of course, if you can see here, the right time, if you place, I mean, if you spend something like, you can see here, 100 rupees for preventive maintenance here. Here, if you see, the condition is not deteriorated, it is still in good condition only. So at this point of time, the Indian understanding is we will never even look at the pavement when it is in good condition. But the preventive maintenance aspect, which is going to be discussed today, that clearly mentions that you need to have an a kind of preventive maintenance program here, so that the 100 rupees spent here is worth 3 to 10 times which is actually spent here. I mean, if you are spending 100 rupees here, you may be spending almost 1,000 rupees if you start looking at the pavement and maintaining the quality of the pavement or bringing it back to the condition. So that's why it's very essential for us to understand the importance of the preventive maintenance aspect. So it will extend the life enormously. When we design the pavement for 20 years or 15 years, the actual life of the pavement is going to be much more than that when you go to the preventive maintenance aspect. So if you look at the life cycle cost analysis, so maybe you can see here the pavement condition deteriorates with the usage. With some time, it actually goes down, and this is where the actual the condition where we are supposed to have some maintenance aspect. For example, the pavement condition index or PCI, what we normally can find out in the field. Every engineering department will have their own division where every year they will actually travel on the road and try to find out what are the various failure conditions and try to rate that pavement based upon 0 to 100 scale. 100 is the best possible condition, whereas 0 is the pavement is not at all there. So worst possible condition is 0, 100 is the best possible condition. So here there is a threshold value here, somewhere here, around 50 is considered as the threshold value, and we are supposed to actually structurally lift the quality of the pavement so that the pavement will again become good quality pavement, and again the traffic will feel more comfortable here. But here what is happening, by the time the pavement has come from 100 to 50, the threshold value, it might have taken, let us say, 7 years or 6 years during the initial cycle. Afterwards, when you give the conventional overlay here in the form of structural overlay or functional overlay, what is happening? the quality of payment is improving, but the second time when it is deteriorating, the rate of deterioration will be much more sharper. So the cycle from here to here, it is one cycle, from here to next cycle. If you look at these two cycles, the amount of time which is taken for the payment to travel from 100 to 50 here and same 100 to 50 here, that time gets on reducing. So for example, if it has taken 6 years here, it would have taken 4 years. In the next cycle, it would have taken 3 years or 2 years. So likewise, the deterioration, the rate of deterioration as life is progressing, the rate at which the payment is deteriorating, which will keep on increasing very, very fast. So we should actually stop this. So it is with this conventional overlay mechanism, the rate of deterioration cannot be controlled, and it will be hasty, and it will be failing at very, very frequent intervals. So we have to actually take care of this. So that's where the conventional overlay is not going to work. You can see here the green line, that is what is called preventive maintenance. So we are not allowing the pavement to actually go down, and we are having small treatments. You can see here a very small treatment here, very small treatment here, very small treatment here. Throughout the life of the pavement, the serviceability condition is absolutely beautiful. So the road cycle, the vehicle operating cost or road user cost, generally you call it as road user cost. Every cost will be actually very, very minimal when you go for preventive maintenance treatments. So the replacement of the spare parts of the vehicles, all those things will be minimized, and people will be extremely happy, and your economy is also improving. There are indirect benefits which are going to be there in terms of number of accidents getting reduced with the better road being provided throughout the service life without any gap, and also the vehicle operating costs will be coming down drastically. Thereby, so many things like pollution is also coming down, and there are so many other benefits which cannot be actually measured in terms of money. Of course, road user cost study report can give you some guidance about converting the travel time savings or vehicle operating cost savings. All those things can be categorized, or you can actually find out how much savings you are making. But in reality, the amount of saving which you are going to have, the society is going to have, is enormously high. So you can't even compare. So this is the beauty of the preventive maintenance treatment. So as I told you, the preventive maintenance treatment arrests the light deterioration, retard the progressive failures, reduce the need for corrective maintenance. See here, I'll tell you one small example. For example, you are allowing the pothole to happen. So pothole has taken place, some cracks have got extended, and water has ingressed into the pavement. So after moving of some vehicles, allowing the vehicles to move on such kind of cracked portion, slowly the cracked portion will get detached from pavement, and the progressive formation of the pothole is going to happen. When the pothole is actually progressing, it becomes bigger and bigger, especially during the rainy seasons. When the rainwater actually starts accumulating in the pothole area, then the progression is going to be enormously fast, very, very fast it will be. So when it is progressing very fast, then what is happening? Why it is progressing very fast? Because you have not treated the cracks properly at appropriate time. The cracks have got networked, and then the water has found its way into the pavement, and the stripping and other failures are taken place. Then potholes are starting and potholes are happening, and vehicles are continuously moving because you are not doing any kind of repair there. So within no time, by the time the department wakes up and then goes to the site and starts repairing all that, the damage would have been very big. So once the water enters into the bituminous pavement, the bitumen is not going to behave or perform the way it is supposed to be behaving. So this is one of the worst possible scenarios. So again, the heavy axle vehicles are keeping on moving. When they are moving, the impact load, the fatigue load, which is going to be applied on the pavement, is also increasing because of the undulations, because of the potholes and all. So the failures are actually propagating causing the failure to further deteriorate or increase the rate at which the deterioration is taking place, thereby the failure is going to be pretty high and pretty fast also. So in-time maintenance is something which is very, very important. So if you are not allowing the cracks to even develop, cracks to even go beyond certain limits, then certainly the further repercussions of the pothole formation, all those things can be completely prevented. So this is one thing which we have to take care and try to arrest the light deterioration at the beginning, so that the heavy deterioration is not going to happen, and we are not ending up in getting a lot of failures to be really attended to. So that is one very, very important thing which we need to do. Of course, corrective maintenance, this is what Indians are using. Most of the departments are still using only corrective or reactive or prescriptive kind of mechanism. Unless the failure is coming, the engineers will not go to the site, and they will not initiate the process of maintaining or repairing the system, the pavement system. So wrapping correction, crack correction, excessive deflections. Of course, they don't even bother about excessive deflection. That's what I have seen with my own experience. So when the deflections are happening, it is a clear indication that the pavement has lost its service life. The structural strength of the pavement has gone down. That is the indication with which the deflections or rebound deflections are happening. The deflection bowl, which is coming from falling weight deflectometer studies, can also be taken as criteria. You can say, you can just look at the bowl, you can just analyze the bowl, try to analyze the, find out various, moduli value of various layers using the FWD data. Then from that also you can have an idea about how the structural strength is. Similarly, rutting also clearly indicates the failure pattern, the structural failure pattern. The rutting of the order of 14 millimeters on highways, or 20 millimeters or 25 millimeters on the low volume roads. These are all the various criteria which we normally use. And whenever that threshold value is crossing, then we can clearly say that the pavement is failing structurally. So even after failing that way, some of the roads are left out without even attending to it. There could be multiple reasons. The subgrade may not be in a good condition. The other layers also may be in bad condition. The bitumen might have aged. But aging is something which is always there. Any bitumen will be able to live for only 6 years or 5 years. General perception is when the bitumen is concrete pavement is built for 15 years. Again, there is a cross, please. Some mic is still on. Sir, can you mute your mic, sir? Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So that's the one thing which I just wanted to tell you. So the load carrying ability is something which is always a question mark when the deflection is going beyond certain acceptable limits. So if you are preventing that to happen with a preventive maintenance program, definitely we will be able to come out with the longer life of the pavement. And I was talking about the aging of bitumen. This is not normally being considered as a kind of criteria for evaluating the pavement, because the normal bitumen, which is not modified with any polymer or rubber or whatever, that bitumen can live for at around 5 to 7 years of life, depending upon the environmental variations. So when the environmental variations are very bad, like for example, the area is highly susceptible, like in Rajasthan, where the temperatures goes up to 56, 57 degrees centigrade. So the intensity of heat is too much, and the intensity of other radiations are also very high. So obviously the rate at which the pavement, the bitumen, which is getting aged, is something which is very high. So it may live for only 4 or 5 years if it is unmodified. If it is a modified bitumen, it may live for another 2 years extra. So beyond that, it's not going to live. Though the bitumen pavement is designed for 15 or 20 years, we cannot expect the bitumen to be living for more than 7 years or 8 years. That's one of the most important point. Most of the engineers don't even look at that as a kind of important aspect. So one has to take care of that. And the bitumen which is there, the aged bitumen, has to be rejuvenated. So how to rejuvenate? There are rejuvenators which are available. Recycling can be done. You can just scarify the layer and then mill the entire material and mix it with fresh bitumen, fresh aggregate, some rejuvenating agents you can add and try to bring it back to the life. So this kind of measures are required. Most of the departments are not doing that. I keep talking to the field engineers on a very frequent basis. So unfortunately, it is never been taken very seriously. The aging of bitumen is something which is very, very important. So the corrective measures are not going to really solve these issues because corrective treatment will never talk about the rejuvenation of aged bituminous concrete layer. That's one of the most important things. Then the surface roughness. When I was actually working with an engineering staff college of India, the road which was going from the Mehedipatnam to high tech city, it goes via engineering staff college of India. We found that road was being failed many times. Then we had a small consultancy activity where we were asked to investigate why exactly the road is actually failing. So when we found it was almost 17 to 18 layers of premixed carpet which has been put on that road, the road was failing, a lot of cracks were happening because of expansive soil which was there as a ground, the subgrade. The cracks were actually propagating every time, and there is no measure of arresting that crack. Simply they went on having 17, 18 layers of premixed carpet whenever it is demanded or required. So when we were actually taking the core, we had 17, 18 layers of 20 millimeter thick premixed carpet, and the level of the road has gone up like anything. And later on, we gave a very strong recommendation that it has to be completely scarified, remilled and recycled. So that section of the road was recycled, and of course, later on it was working very well. ISKI has done that consultancy activity during the time. I was there as a faculty for 1 year. During the time I was getting involved in that particular act. Similar kind of experience are there where the kind of it's like without solving the initial basic issue, you are simply giving some makeup in the form of premixed carpet. Premixed carpet has been found to be not so effective for many reasons, but even today, many of the engineers, we are using still the premixed carpet as a functional layer. 20 millimeters premixed carpet, whenever pavement is failing, go there and put 20 millimeters. It is never a structural layer. It is not going to improve the structural condition of the pavement at all. And at the same time, it is actually a burden for the pavement. The cracks are going to again get reflected back to the pavement surface within no time, because the crack is nothing but stress release, and by putting the premixed carpet layer, you are creating one more stress again. So obviously, it is not going to really work like that. So this is what is basically the idea. The person should be knowledgeable about the pre-treatment or the kind of treatment which is supposed to be applied before you actually go for the overlaying or some other mechanism. So without repairing the failures which are existing or which are visible, they are simply putting some premixed carpet layer, and that is not really going to work. So corrective measures, reactive or prescriptive measures, they are all not scientifically planned. Most of the failures are repeatedly happening because of unscientific corrective measures or prescriptive measures. So right quality improvement, simply provide premixed carpet. Surface roughness, again, one more layer of premixed carpet. So this is what is happening, unfortunately. So that should be stopped, basically. Then, of course, this is what it is. There is a beautiful slide which is given by Federal Highway Administration, and Pavement Serviceability Index or Pavement Condition Index (PCI), what we call in our Indian context. All our engineers are knowing how to really find out the PCI by having some surveys and all. So there you can rate the pavement in the range of 0 to 100. As I told you, 100 is the best pavement service, and 0 is the worst condition of the pavement. So here, if you see at about 90, starting from 90 to 60. So 90 to 60 is something which is always a good pavement. 50 is the threshold value. You can say this is the threshold value. 50 is the threshold value. and anything above 50 is actually a good condition. So acceptable condition, you can say. So 60 to 90 is the range where routine maintenance can be done. Whenever you see small failures, small crack, if it is coming, immediately go and fill the cracks. Don't even wait for the crack to really become big or something like that. You have to do all that. Small potholes may happen, and then potholes have to be filled within no time. So this kind of routine maintenance aspects should be taken when the pavement serviceability condition is in between 90 to 60. Similarly, preventive maintenance. See here, when the pavement condition is 80 from this range, so to this range, this is about 50. So 50 to 80 is the right time for you to go for preventive maintenance. This is not just like that they have given. Say a lot of studies they have made. The Federal Highway Administration, one of the world's topmost organization in the pavement engineering industry. So this is what Americans follow. American road agencies follow. Other advanced countries are also following the same thing. So within this range, you can say the preventive maintenance to be taken place. So likewise, you have got multiple ranges where rehabilitation, reconstruction, you can see here, reconstruction starts from 20 to 50. So from the range of 50 to 20, the reconstruction has to be taken care, and the pavement has to be taken out, or some of the layers can be removed and then reconstructed. Now, full depth reclamation is something which is very popularly cropping up in our country. UP and other states are adapting to that full depth reclamation. So a lot of studies going on. All the layers except this upgrade, every layer has been removed and it will be recycled, and then the specialistic machinery is available for that. And in India, it is aggressively progressing. Many of the states, they are trying to adopt that, so that the recycling is something which is actually taken very positively. Now, what is the right treatment? This we need to understand this. Crack filling sealing, fog seals, scrub seal, chip seal, slurry seal, micro surfacing. These are all the names we normally hear. Macro surfacing, thin bonded wearing course, thin HMA hot mix asphalt course, overlays. So these are all the various names we normally hear on a day-to-day basis. But what to use, when to use, and how to use, there is no clarity for all these things. That's why I suggest all the engineers to actually go through this particular mechanism. It's only a beginning which I am, within 1 hour or 1.5 hours, I will not be able to cover all the areas which are required. I usually give the training program for the engineers, in-service engineers for 3 days, 4 days. I gave such kind of training earlier while in ISKI. So I think it requires longer time for us to actually train every aspect of these various specialist treatment programs, so that the engineers will be able to completely understand, and then they go to this field and start working on that. But I'll just give a overview of what is what. So right treatment depends upon existing pavement. First of all, we have to analyze what is the type of the pavement, what are the kind of distresses which are available, whether it is a structural distress or functional distress, whether drainage is properly available. See, drainage is something which is unfortunately very poorly managed in India. Most of the failures are initiated because of very bad drainage system in India. In Hyderabad also, we have during the Nizam time, whatever the drainage system which was provided, the same drainage with an addition of another 10% of additional drainage system has been maintained. But the current road network in Hyderabad is way ahead than Nizam's time. Most of the roads will not have any kind of drainage at all. That's why even if a small rainfall is happening, entire road is getting inundated. Big floods are coming, and of course it is resulting in a lot of loss of life and a lot of failures. Again, the potholes is a perennial problem in Hyderabad. That is just because of very poor quality of drainage. So India, our people are not actually taking it forward. There are so many institutes, so many experts who are available in and around Hyderabad who can actually give the solution for all this. But unfortunately, nothing is taking place. And even today, Hyderabad is suffering. Floods are happening, and pavements are failing with a lot of potholes and other failures because of very poor quality of drainage system which is available in Hyderabad. This is similar kind of situation is prevalent everywhere in the country also. You go to Bombay, the drainage system is slightly better in Bombay. That's why it actually inundates. I mean, it actually clears the roads in a quick manner. But in Japan, again, I'm bringing back the example of Japan. Japan also it rains very heavily. Within 10 to 15 minutes after the heavy rainfall, you can't see even a drop of water which is remaining on the roads. But here, the water remains for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and the pavement is already failing and water will be seeping into all these layers. When you allow the water to seep into the layers of bituminous pavement or cement concrete pavement, it's not going to survive for a long time. So this drainage aspect is something which is very badly managed, and we have to take care of the drainage. It's not enough to have good quality pavement. At the same time, you should have very good drainage system so that the water is not interacting with the pavement layers in a very heavy manner. The environment, of course, climate takes an important role. Traffic environment, noise, expected growth, that also has to be taken care. Life cycle costs also have to be properly taken care when you are actually going for right treatment. For example, multiple treatments may be available or possible. Then which treatment is going to be useful for you? Which is going to have a better life cycle cost is something which you need to work on. Using HDM4 package or some other packages, popular packages are available. You can use those packages, try to find out which treatment option is going to be the most appropriate option. And there is scientific mechanism. We would never use scientific mechanisms, unfortunately. So scientifically, we have to evaluate and then take an action which preventive maintenance or which maintenance activity has to be taken and implemented in the field. That's what is very important. Locally available materials, that is also one of the most important aspects. Like you need to use as much as locally available material as possible. So that is one thing which is important towards reducing the overall cost of the maintenance aspects. Then SHRP has its own manual. It can be downloaded free of cost. All of us can download this manual. This is called a distress identification manual. Very, very popular manual, world-class manual. Several other manuals are also available. You can choose any of those manuals. Some of the colorful manuals are also available. You can just take those manuals, and an engineer can learn so much of knowledge or so much of information regarding how the pavement fails and how to really find out. The cracks look alike, but the reason for every crack is different. Unless you understand the reason, the perfect reason or vertical reason why that crack is visible or how it is progressing, whether it is a networked crack, whether it is longitudinal crack, whether it is transverse crack, what kind of crack you are seeing. But the reasons are completely different for all these cracks. Where exactly the crack is lying, whether it is near the joint of the lanes which is made, or whether it is in the edge of the pavement, whether it is in the middle of the pavement lane. So where exactly the crack is existing and what could be the reason for the crack, all that information you can find it in the distress identification manual with beautiful clues and cues in the form of photographs. The engineer can actually study that, take it to the field, and match the photographs with the failure which is happening in the field, and accordingly he or she can take the maintenance, the kind of option which they are supposed to take. So unless you identify the reason, you will not be able to give the appropriate solution. So, for example, it is like when somebody is suffering with cancer, if you give crocin, will it really get cured? It is not going to cure. It is going to be, progressing very, very fast. So that kind of thing should never happen. You have to actually be a road engineer, road doctor, what we call. So appropriately, forensically, you have to investigate. And then forensic investigation, that is very important. So this forensic investigation is something which is a kind of, need of the hour. And engineers who are there on the field should be trained with respect to the forensic investigation or the failure of various distresses. This manual, if somebody is studying, that will give you a wonderful beginning of understanding the failures of roads and then how to really go ahead with the solution for these manuals. So this is what I was talking about. The Engineering Staff College of India's case study I was talking a little earlier. So this is how it happens basically. When the crack is there at the bottom, there is a cross section of the pavement, the bituminous concrete layer. When you have got this much of crack, what is it they are doing? Another layer of bituminous premix concrete or some other overlay they are making. So this crack, already the crack means the stress is released. Now again, what is happening? You are creating stress by having this overlay. So again, the stress gets released through again the cracks. You can see here, the crack is initiated, and in the same line, vertical line, the crack will be propagating, and again, this overlay will get opened up within no time. So it's going to be a waste of exercise, and unless you take care of this interface. So what is this interface? There are some solutions like SAMI interlayer, stress absorbing membrane interlayer. They are available. It's not theory. It's all practical. Practically, they are available, and you need to provide those solutions there. SAMI interlayer. Above that, if you are providing, the SAMI interlayer has tremendous amount of tensile strength, and this crack, if it wants to propagate, it cannot actually crack through the SAMI interlayer and propagate into the top layer. So the crack propagation will be getting delayed. Unless the SAMI interlayer is failing, the crack will not be propagating into the top layer. So thereby you are enhancing by just having one interlayer, one matte kind of SAMI interlayer in between the failed surface and the top surface. You will not have, you will be delaying the failure basically. If you want to solve the entire solution, I mean, get the solution, you have to go to the root cause of this failure. Why this crack is happening at all? So then you can have the forensic solution for that, and then you may have to remove the layers, the failed layers, recycle them, and then replenish with the best layer or better layer. So this is one thing which I just want to highlight. So this manual tells about low to moderate distress, how the distress looks like. So you can see here, this is where the manual gives such kind of beautiful pictures. You can just go through this moderate to high severity. You can see the cracks here, and you can see the high severity cracks here. You can see. So what are the critical things? Aggregates are very critical. We tend to use any aggregate which is available. If it is passing some test, impact test, when the impact value is less than 24%, okay, it is accepted. Similarly, when the aggregate pressure value is less than 30%, please accept it. That's how it goes basically. But the mineralogy of the rock or stone is never taken into consideration. If it is a hydrophilic aggregate, at the beginning of lecture itself, I told you that hydrophilic aggregate, if it is being taken, even if it is passing the other strength-related tests, it is not going to be a good option for the bituminous concrete layer or bitumen-based layers. That small mistake if we are doing the repercussion will be very, very bad basically. So I think asphalts, binders and asphalt emulsions are all critical. You need to choose the appropriate binders, appropriate emulsions for various applications. Emulsions are being used for cold applications, whereas binders are normally used for hot applications. So what are the techniques? I'll quickly go through some of the techniques. Time is already 6 o'clock. So another 15 minutes I'll take to complete the discussion. Later on, we can open for some discussions. So is it fine, sir? Brahmareddy, sir? Okay. So what are the various techniques which are available? Well, as the preventive maintenance programs, the fog seal coat, chip seal coat, crack seal coat, slurry coat, macro surfacing, thin, ultra thin HMA overlays, that is hot mix asphalt overlays. There are several techniques like bituminous concrete pavement. For the cement concrete pavement, we have joint or crack sealing mechanism, diamond grinding and grooving, thin, ultra thin HMA overlays, micro surfacing again on the cement concrete pavement, under sealing, double bar retrofitting, maintenance of drainage features. These are categorized as the techniques for PCC pavement, maintenance as preventive maintenance programs. So what is crack sealing? You can see here when the crack is very, very small, we should have the necessary tools to fill the cracks, properly fill the cracks, prevent further failure. When you have the tools to fill the small cracks, the further failures will not happen, and potholing is not going to happen at all. If you properly fill the cracks and see that the water is not actually increasing or going into the pavement layers, that's very, very important. So routine maintenance, cleaning and sealing has to be done. Then prevents intrusion of water in incompressible materials. Incompressible materials are what? When the cracks are allowed to be there during the dry seasons also, small stone pieces, they fly and they will deposit inside the cracked areas. They are called incompressible materials. So when incompressible materials are actually going into that, the stresses on the walls of the crack, both walls of the crack will be high. When the vehicles are moving, the stress which is generated by the incompressible material on the walls of the crack will actually open up the crack much further. So thereby the crack propagation will be increasing over a period of time. So we should not allow any foreign material, foreign objects or incompressible material to be entering into the cracked areas. So by sealing the crack with crack sealant, that's going to be prevented. So if you do this, retards deterioration, retards cupping for deformation, may extend the life by 4 years. You can see here. These are not just numbers. When you fill the cracks, timely filling of the cracks will extend the pavement life by 4 years, which is going to be pretty high. And 4 years of extended life, you can't imagine how much money it is going to save. So just by filling the cracks on time, when the crack is very, very small, you can see here, this is a very beautiful mechanism which has been given by the Federal Highway Administration. By having the crack sealing, if you have low severity, medium severity, high severity for all these failures, for all these, when it is fatigue cracking or linear or block cracking, when the cracking is of low severity, this treatment is going to be pretty effective. That's what it says. This red color is effective. And this is not appropriate. This gray color says very clearly that it is not appropriate. That means if you go for crack filling, when the crack intensity is medium or high severity intensity, then this solution is going to be detrimental for the cracked areas. It's going to reverse, and the entire investment will be wasted, and the crack propagation will be much more enhanced if you are using this particular mechanism or solution when the severity is medium or high. Only when the crack severity is low, this is going to work as a good solution, excellent solution. Similarly, moisture damage, when low severity moisture damage is seen at the site, then crack filling is going to be really, really effective. So these are rutting, raveling, bleeding, roughness. For this, the second limit, no impact at all. Even if you are filling the cracks, when the rutting, raveling, bleeding, roughness is available or seen, then it will not have any kind of impact. So the crack filling is a wasted mechanism. The money is actually putting into drain. It's equal to putting the money into drain. When rutting is there, raveling is there, even at low severity, the crack filling activity is not going to really work out. That's what this particular sheet very clearly says. So this is a wonderful tool in the hand of the pavement engineer who can take decisions based upon this particular sheet. You can see here, fog seal coat. There's another variety of solution. From a distance, if you see, when the seal coating is done, seal coat is actually applied on the pavement, it looks like a fog. How fog looks like. So it's a light application, diluted, slow setting asphalt emulsion or bitumen emulsion without aggregate. There is no aggregate here. It's only emulsion which is sprayed very fast. It looks like fog. So it is a kind of a rejuvenation mechanism. So seals the pavement, inhibit raveling. Raveling means the separation of bitumen from aggregate, and aggregates are getting loose from the surface. So the traveling also will be reduced, and the rejuvenation, you can see bright black color of the pavement when it is fog sealed. That kind of rejuvenation is possible. Enrich hardened or oxidized asphalt. When the pavement is old, maybe 4 or 5 years old, Then oxidized or aged bitumen can be seen. Pale color, pale, no brown color, dark brown color. It's not no more dark black color or dark brown color. It is light brown color. It converts into. So that means very clearly sees that clearly indicates that the pavement has failed basically. The aging has taken place. So you can have this fog seal coat. It will seal all the surfaces and it rejuvenates. Again, there is some cross talking. Brahma desire. Can you mute your mic? Brahma desire. Can you mute your mic, please? Hello. Kindly mute your mics so that I can talk without any intervention. So, hello, Brahma desire. Can somebody do the needful in muting the mic, please?
అదే నేను లోపల చూసి అనుకున్నా
Can somebody from Institution of Engineers can speak, please? Hello. Hello, can you mute the mic, please? Yeah, thank you. Please see that it is muted properly, sir. Yeah. Then fog seal coat I was discussing about, and here, if you look at the fog seal coat's effectivity, again, for the fatigue cracking, it is not a good solution at all. When the pavement is having cracked surface, so obviously it is marginal. The effect is going to be marginal. It's not going to be effective at all. Wherever the red color is there, for example, if it is moisture damage, then you have this fog seal coat is very, very effective. That too at low severity. At all the other severity levels, even for moisture damage, this fog seal coat is not going to be really effective. So for all the other failures, for example, fatigue cracking, rutting, raveling, bleeding, nowhere this fog seal coat is being applied as an effective technique. So what I'm trying to say is there is a tendency of using the fog seal coat. It's available in India. Some of the agencies are having this. Whenever there is a kind of failure which is available, the fog seal coat is one of the very popular seal coat people keep on applying. But from medium to high severity levels, you can see this is not appropriate at all. It's going to be pretty dangerous. And the moisture which is actually entrapped inside the bituminous concrete layer is going to deteriorate the actual pavement surface much more faster than what it was earlier. When the fog seal coat was not applied, when the severity levels are medium or high, then at least there was a possibility of moisture to actually evaporate in the atmosphere. But right now you have put that particular thin seal and you have put the fog seal, and the water will be entrapped permanently inside the bituminous concrete layer. Thereby the deterioration will be much more faster. That's what very clearly it says. It is not going to be appropriate at all. You are not supposed to use fog seal coat when the failure levels are medium or high severity. Chip seal coat, similarly, application of asphalt and aggregate chips rolled onto the pavement. And if you see the chip seal coat's effectivity, you can see fatigue cracking, the cracking is going to be very effective for the low severity. Raveling for medium severity also, it's going to be very effective. Whereas texture loss, for all the severity levels, this chip seal coat is going to be really, really a good solution. So an engineer who is working, whenever there is a texture loss, the friction has lost its surface, no friction, and the friction factor is not adequately good, it has become very smooth or very rough, then naturally you can go for the chip seal coat without any difficulty. So it's a wonderful solution at all the severity levels. That's how this shades will give you a beautiful mechanism in the hands of a engineer who is actually taking care of the maintenance of roads in the form of providing the solution. Then moisture damage, of course, in the low severity level it is useful, but medium and high severity level, this particular thing is not really useful. We'll go on scrub seal coat, application of sand or small sized aggregate on the broomed layer of polymer modified asphalt. So here, one polymer modified asphalt layer will be layered, and it is broomed. On the broomed layer, they are going to apply the sand or small sized aggregate particles. Thereby, it will give you the texture which is required for the pavement. Even this, it is not really suitable for the medium and high severity levels for any kind of failures. But for low severity failures, fatigue cracking, linear cracking, ravening, and moisture damage. For these 4 failures, this solution is going to be a scrub seal solution is going to be a very, very good solution. Similarly, macro surfacing, very popular. Synchronized continuous application of ultra-fast polymer asphalt emulsion and single-sized durable aggregates. Each and every of these, for example, if you want to learn macro surfacing, there are manuals available from the FSW websites. You can go through that manuals and you can learn very easily. They are all available free of cost, downloadable. And I have given the links also at the end of this lecture so that anybody can actually go to that site, download the material and try to read thoroughly. So it also seals the pavement, improves the surface texture, and very high volume traffic pavements. This is a good solution. But this also, for texture loss, it is going to be very, very suitable. Very, very beautiful solution. Raveling up till the medium level of distress, this is a good solution. But for high severity solution failure, this is not a good solution at all, unfortunately. So these are all the various solutions, but some of the rates you can see here, except rutting and roughness. For the low severity failures, this the solution is going to be macro surfacing is a good solution. But popularly, it is believed that macro surfacing is a universal solution for every failure condition. But that is not the truth. So here, if you look at the fatigue cracking in the case of medium or high severity condition, this is going to be not appropriate. It is not at all appropriate. So we should not even think of using this. Similarly, when the moisture damage is of medium or high severity, this is completely inappropriate to use the macro surfacing. It's going to be very dangerous. As I told you, the same reason. The moisture gets entrapped in the pavement because of the macro surfacing, and it will do its own work in spoiling the rest of the part of the top surface of the pavement. Since slurry report, a mixture of well-graded aggregates and slow-sitting asphalt emulsion. There are type 1, 2, 3, so much of solution is available. This also is suitable for texture loss, whereas for other failures, medium to high severity conditions, this solution is also not going to be a real good solution. Micro surfacing, very heavily talked about solution. In India, many agencies are actually boasting of providing the micro surfacing solution. It's a very good solution, mixture of high quality aggregates and polymer modified emulsion binding. These are 2 combined materials, and micro surfacing, there is a special machinery which is available. It's not possible with routine road building materials, machinery, to actually provide the micro surfacing. So this inhibits raveling, improves surface texture, fills the ruts, and seals the pavement surface. You can see here a lot of pictures are there. Now you can see this particular picture where it can work very well for rutting, raveling, even up to medium severity level. Texture loss, it can work for all the severity levels. Whereas all the failures, whatever the failure is there at low severity level, this solution is going to be a very good solution. It can actually extend the life, but again, for the medium to high severity of fatigue cracking, this is not going to be an appropriate solution at all. If you suspect fatigue cracking, then the micro surfacing, when the fatigue cracking has gone beyond the medium level of failure or high severity failure, when the cracking intensity is more than 20%, we call it as medium. If it is less than 20% of extent of area, then it is a low severity, fatigue cracking. When it is more than 20 to 40 is medium, more than 40% of area is covered with cracks. That means it is high severity level. That FSWA manual will give you all these indications. So according to that, we'll be able to judge whether it is medium level solution, medium level severity or high level severity. That can be easily judged. There's no problem at all. So from that, we can actually judge whether this microsurfacing could be a good solution or not. Now, ultra-thin bonded surface texture cores. There's one more solution which is available. This is slightly a better version of that. You can see ravening, bleeding, and texture loss for all these three failures. Whatever may be the severity, this is a beautiful solution again. So similarly, milling with thin HMA overlay. This is recycling. Of course, in India, we are actually following this. Scarifying the layers, milling the bituminous concrete pavement, and then recycling that with added new bitumen, added new aggregates, and then probably some rejuvenators. All these things are mixed together, and then we'll be laying that layer and then compacting with rollers and all. So that's a beautiful mechanism, and many of us are aware of this. Many of the road agencies are using this slightly costlier version because we are scarifying the entire layer and then recycling, adding several things, and then relaying and compacting. It's like almost laying a new surface layer. You can see the beauty of this raveling, bleeding, roughness, texture loss. All these four failures can be completely, taken care if you can go for the recycling. That is milling with thin HMA overlay, allowable whatever milling we do, that 20 or 40 millimeters of layer, we are completely milling out and then again recycling and relaying and then providing the solution. So whatever may be the severity level, that solution is going to work for very, very long time. Absolutely no problem at all for this. So diamond grinding, another solution. This is basically for PCCs. Till now we have been discussing about the bituminous pavements, and this is for plain cement concrete pavement. Diamond grinding is required whenever the pavement loses its friction, because cement concrete pavement tends to lose its friction on a very fixed, frequent basis. Every 4 or 5 years, we have to take the diamond grinding and then grind the surface of the pavement. Thereby, you are having adequate friction, which is again cropping upon the surface of the pavement. But this solution, it will help in roughness, texture loss, surface distress. Of course, texture loss, it is going to really help. Complete texture loss can be, taken care by whatever may be the texture loss, whether it is low severity, medium, or high severity. That is completely taken care by this diamond grinding or resurfacing. So then, of course, load transfer restoration. When the pavement is failing structurally, the cement concrete pavement is failing structurally, then you can very clearly see the cracks which are happening on the corners and edges. The pavement will break into pieces. So when such kind of failures are happening, there could be a suspicion about the load transfer happening at the edges or corners. So there you can remove the earlier non-functional tie bars and double bars, and then replace or retrofit the new bars, new tie bars, or new double bars. Thereby you can restore the load transfer mechanism and comfortably do the whole mechanism. Again, Satyanarayana Garu, can you mute your mic?
Sir, shall we close in 5 minutes, sir?
Yes, sir. We can close it. Closed in 5 minutes.
Okay.
I'm almost at the end of my lectures.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So this load transfer restoration also can take place up to, it can work for pumping, but for all other solutions, the failures, this is not really going to help. Whether it is linear cracking, joint corner breaks, or joint faulting, joint spanning, decracking. So can you mute your mic, sir? Raju, sir?
వాళ్ళ ఫాదరు చేశాడు ఫాదర్ గారు బ్రదర్
Satyanarayana Raju garu. So can you mute your mic, sir, please? Sir, please mute your mic, sir.
I am military man.
Sir, can you mute your mic, please? Thank you. So this is one thing, and you can say right time. Till now, we have been discussing about various failures and various measures which are available. At what level of failure condition we have to apply that measure. That also we have actually discussed. Now, what is the right time for this measure to take place? For example, if you see, so this particular sheet which is available where with the FSWA, Federal Highway Administration. So again, there is a crosstalk. So please help me in reducing this crosstalk. Neha, can you mute your mic?
Yeah.
So this is what is happening. Look, like you have multiple varieties of multiple stages at which these treatment options can be taken. So Fox seal can be taken when the pavement condition is almost at around 80, 90, microsurfacing at around 70. I have not given the other details. More detailed graphs are available. So at what time, at what condition of the pavement, whether it is 60, 70, 80, what is the current pavement condition? So based upon which these treatment options can be taken, that also has been very clearly given. Then what's the right project? Which project has to be given the condition, I mean, the treatment option? That has to be decided by the engineer in charge based upon the network requirement. For example, if some road is prioritized, if it is an important road, naturally we have to prior to this road, that road, and then give the option. Similarly, if you look at this, there's a beautiful table which is given by Federal Highway Administration. So when you are applying the Fox seal code, when the condition of the pavement is good, that is pavement condition is about 80, then the extended service life is going to be 3 to 5 years. Similarly, if you look at the thin HMA, thin hot mix asphalt layer or micro surfacing, if you take, when the condition is good, if you are applying micro surfacing, then the extended service life is going to be 8 to 12 years. The pavement design is made for 15 years of design life, whereas your life extension is going to be 8 to 12 years again. So 15 plus another 10 years of extended life. So the pavement is going to live for another 25 years instead of 15 years. So likewise, these are not just numbers. These are the numbers which have been established in USA with a lot of studies, lot of case studies, real life case studies they have done. And when you are applying the fair condition, for example, when the PCA has reached 60 and you are applying the micro surfacing there, then the extended life is going to be 5 to 7 years. Whereas when the PCA is about 80, if you are applying the HMA layer, then micro surfacing, the extended life is about 10 years. So 10 years, here 6 years. So 4 years of extended life is possible. When the condition has become poor, the extended life is about 3 years. So obviously, it is your choice as an engineer when to really provide this, micro surfacing maintenance program so that you can extend the life like this. Similarly, they have also given the cost data, typical cost data, 2023 data. This is crack sealing, how much cost it is going to happen. Fox seals, this kind of data is available even for Indian condition also. So if you apply the crack sealing, when to apply and at what frequency you are supposed to apply. The crack sealing has to be applied every second or third year or fourth year. Similarly, Fox seals are supposed to be applied between 2 to 4 years, every second year or third year or fourth year. So likewise, the frequency of application is given. Thin HMA, 8 to 15 years. So any time between these 8 to 15 years of the service life, the thin HMA can be given. So when to apply the maintenance program also has been very clearly told in this manual. Of course, these are all the various things which I just wanted to highlight in this particular lecture. So in summary, we need to even do the life cycle cost analysis. Because whenever you are applying a preventive treatment program, people will have a kind of, heartburn. When no failure is there, why should I even apply a maintenance program? Why should I go for a micro surfacing or macro surfacing? What is the necessity when the road is looking nice, when it is still serving better? Why should I even go for that kind of maintenance program? These kind of questions will keep coming up unless you take a case study and try to implement this particular program very meticulously and try to show to the entire country that these are all the various advantages. Indian agencies will not be able to appreciate this. America has already identified this, and why American roads are good, because they are actually conscious about the preventive maintenance programs. This is one of the major issues, major deviations which the American agencies follow. They really maintain their vehicles within the load limits. Overloading mechanism is not pretty high in America, whereas in India, overloading is also pretty high. The weather conditions, we don't design the mixtures based upon the availability of our prevailing weather conditions. That is also inappropriate use of inappropriate type of the bitumen or type of the binder which is being used. So these are all the various things which are really bothering our Indian context. So some of the top class national highways and expressways, they are built with proper mechanisms. But most of the other roads, the state highways, MDRs, ODRs, village roads, they are not built as per the requirements. So with these few words, I think I'll stop here itself. If you have any kind of query, you can talk to me. I'll be able to answer if I know. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir. Professor V. Vinayak Ram Garu, you have given an excellent lecture on this day of S. Raghavachari Gari Endowment lecture, and you have started with why payment preservation, and you rightly said about the importance of the right treatment at the right time, the right time strategies to minimize the cost, and also explained in detail about the payment maintenance types, sir. And you also explained how critical are the aggregates, binders, asphalt, emulsions, etc., their selection and importance in that one. And you covered in detail about the pavement preservation techniques also, sir. So about the pavement, you have given the entire concept. I think the civil engineers might have enjoyed very much, and it is the deep knowledge you have provided for all of us, sir. So thank you very much for accepting our invitation and being present and given an excellent lecture, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks a lot, sir, for this wonderful opportunity. If anybody
sir,
has any
now I
queries-
request Professor Seshamananda Garu to respond on this event, to say few words about Professor S. Raghavachari Garu. Sir, Seshamananda Garu, are you present, sir?
Karim Saab, his student also want Chairman Saab, his
Sir,
student Karim Saab, Abdul Karimullah Khan Saab, retired ENC, also want to talk for 1 second.
okay, sir, okay.
Sir, good evening, sir. I am M.A. Karim, Engineering Chief, Panchayat Raj, sir. Retired. Actually, I was the student of our Sri Raghavachari Garu in 1969-70. He has started transportation engineering. We have actually taken a lot of actually benefit from him in this total our education, as well as during our working in a Panchayat Raj department in World Bank, roads which are taken up in big numbers in 3 districts, and PMGSY also, we have taken up a large BT program throughout the state. I am really happy to even see the lectures of our Vinayak Ram sir. Definitely will try to still,
Professor Ramana
and our Professor Ramana Chairman Venkata Subbai Garu also, and Sitaram Babu, they are all really with me, and they were enjoying the lectures. I wish this lecture will definitely be useful for whole of the AP as well as India world roads, because the roads sector is very much important to be taken care with this technology. And actually, we have also gone to Australia with the World Bank project team to assist this chip sealing and other roads program in Australia as well as South. We'll definitely take your suggestions for taking care of this roads roads program for repairing as well as sealing, etc. Thank you, sir.
Right, sir. Anybody else, sir? In
Sir,
brief,
I take 1 second, sir. Chairman sir, with your permission.
okay, sir. In brief, sir.
Sir, when I appeared for good evening, sir. Professor Dr. Vinay Ram sir, highly appreciable talk, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening,
Sir, our national highway number 9, presently national highway number 65, I think, Hyderabad to Vijayawada. One bridge was collapsed, sir, near the previously road. Kisara Steel Bridge was there.
Okay.
Kisara Steel Bridge, sir. Kisara Steel Bridge was there.
Okay, sir.
In that point of view, our national highway NHA constructed the same road by 4-wheeler.
Okay.
With a small rain, sir, that was collapsed after a couple of years. I think it was in 2007 or 8, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Then what I mean to say that payments and in British government, sir, you take in Delhi, the roads are number 1, Ashoka Road, Akbar Road, Rashtrapati Bhavan. The camber in such a way, single drop of water is not staying, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Single
sir.
drop of water.
Yes, sir.
Very sad thing. Nowadays, due to the cloud computing or environment imbalance, heavy rain taken place.
Yeah.
3 months rain, 3 hours of water, sir.
Yes, sir.
So automatically the rain water is against to BT.
Yes.
So that is, sir, I know how time is there, sir. Very happy. Good day, sir. I happy independence, sir. Meer matram FI cheyal, sir. Vinay Ram, sir. Kindly register, enroll as a FI. Kindly, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, anybody else, please? So now I request Dr. K. Sitaram Babu Garu, Honorary Secretary, to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Chairman Sir, Dr. G. Venkata Subbai Garu, and the convener of the event, Professor Dr. Ramnanai Banut Garu, for having made this wonderful lecture a reality, sir. We should also thank Professor B. Vinayakaram Garu. This guy is the professor from Department of Civil Engineering, Technology, Hyderabad campus.
Sir, Secretary, sir, Seshamananda Garu is online.
Okay.
Ask him to talk, sir. Sir, Seshamananda Garu, can you say a few words about your father, S. Raghavachari Garu?
Sir, namaskar.
On behalf of our family, we would like to thank all for remembering our father and sincerely arranging these wonderful lectures. I still remember Vinayakaram Garu visiting our house. He is a family member for us. He's like my brother. They were great days where students were giving great respect to teachers. We have seen literally the Guru Shishya relationship. I have seen in my childhood hundreds of people having great relation with my father, and great motivation for teachers, for everybody who want to become teachers and do research. So it's a mixed feeling for the family. Thank you all for arranging. Thank you all. We are so happy.
Thank you very much, sir, Professor Seshamananda Garu. So now I request Dr. K. Sitaram Babu Garu to continue vote of thanks.
Sir, thank you very much, sir, for a wonderful lecture, sir. Dr. Professor Vinayakaram Garu is the professor in Department of Civil Engineering from Birla Institute of Technology, Hyderabad campus, sir. And such a wonderful lecture, sir. I think we all enjoyed the lecture given by you, sir. And the topic that you have chosen is really order of the day, sir. We also thank the chairman of the Institute of Engineers, Dr. G. Venkat Subbai Garu, and the convener of the event, Professor Dr. Ramna Naik Garu, for having made this event, such a wonderful event, a reality, sir. I should also thank the past chairman of the past chairman of Institute of Engineers, Brahma Reddy Garu, Professor Dr. Ramna Naik Garu, and Dr. A.S.N. Raj Garu, and the EC members, Mojin Garu, for having part of this, and also the corporate members, the research scholars who are also part of it, sir. And also Abdul Karim Garu. He's a student of Raghavachari Garu. So I think
55 years back.
for 55 years back. I think you also spoken about your lecture, sir, and also the relation that you had with Professor Raghavachari Garu, sir. I should also thank the son of Raghavachari Garu for having part of this, sir, Sheshavanand Garu. I also thank one and all for having been part of this and making this event a grand success, sir. Now I would request let us all stand for the national anthem before we wind up. Thank you.
Vinayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidasa Punjab Sindhu Gujarat
One more for
Indira Himachala Yamuna Ganga Ujjala Jala Taranga Tava Shubha Name Jage Tava Shubha Ashish Mage Jana Gana Mangala Dayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidasa Jaya He Jaya He Jaya Jai Hind. आपका गीत का really I did not
And Usman is national.
Our signal
Ah.
writing the numbers per hour, how many people? Such a priority.
In the sense of the vehicle, flyover కూడా load to అంటే how much
vehicles survey.